Okay. So this week this will be our last meeting, no? And this incidentally also will be our last topic for the next exam. You follow? For the first exam rather, no? Do you follow, everyone? Tomorrow I will upload a sample test which we will discuss on Monday, no? So that you will have a taste test of what will be the actual test, no? So may inform everyone, no? Listen, our test will be on August 25 to 26. You will be given 3 hours for each test. For the test, no? You can log in anytime you like, but you are given 3 hours to finish the test. Okay? Do you follow? August 25 and 26. Our first formative test. You can take anytime, no? 26. That's Wednesday and a Friday, no? And a Wednesday and a Thursday. Do you follow? No? August 25 and 26, everyone. Dito, no? Wednesday and Thursday. Okay? Which will be our first formative test. On Monday, we will still have time to discuss, no? The sample test, which I'm going to show you starting tomorrow, okay? Any questions so far? Everyone? So today, may I ask what type of test will be given? So I will give you a sample anyway, no? Okay, so there will be problem solving. Ano, so, wala pa pala tayong, there will be programming, the different computers, no? There will be multiple choice questions. There will be exact answers, no? Like, which computer had the first mouse? And when was that? When was that? 1973. It's called the Xerox Alto. No? Which computer had the first CRT monitor? Which computer first used to run programs? Rather, Fortran. It's IBM 709. No? Which used to run first to run Fortran. Okay, and many others. No? So there will be multiple choice questions. There will be programming questions. I'll give you an example. No? So you start. I'll put up the test starting tomorrow. Okay. So from time to time you can. The test will be up until Tuesday. No, the sample test. Okay, everyone. It's not the actual test yet. Okay. A sample test will be will activated, no, tomorrow, no, about 8 a.m. no. You can run the sample test yourself, no. It's like your pointers for the actual test. Any questions? Any other questions? Yep, no. So you will, what if you want to expect, you will have the same type as of the test that I am going to run tomorrow, okay? And we will discuss the sample test on Monday. So you will not be caught surprised, okay? Hindi naman ito surprise, okay? You will have you will have a practice test tomorrow, and the actual test will be on Wednesday and Thursday, okay? We will not have lecture, no, on Wednesday next week, but on Monday, of course, we will discuss, but we will not discuss new topic by next week. New topics will not be discussed by next week. Okay? Any questions so far? So let's go to our Daigler site. Wala na. Ayan na. So many windows. Close this na lang. Here it is. Okay. So last meeting we discussed the history of IBM PC. You read this again yourself. Okay. The history of the IBM PC and the history of Did we discuss the history of Microsoft Windows? So for today, we'll finish the topic on history of computing. Okay, so let's look at the different. The IBM PC was first released in 1981. Okay, with an operating system from Microsoft, which is called MS-DOS. No? Remember that the first personal computer from Apple was released earlier in 1976. No? Anyway, there's also another trivia. Which program was considered, or what was the first, okay, electronic spreadsheet program? Okay, what was the first electronic spreadsheet program? It was VisiCalc, which was run on the Apple II. Okay, the Apple II. Have I mentioned that? It's here in the history of Apple computers, no? Ito, no? 1979. Okay, 1979 is the, yeah. Anyway, let's Google na lang, no? What's the first electronic spreadsheet? I think it's earlier, no? First spreadsheet is VisiCalc, no? I'm not sure about that. No, there's an older, but the first spreadsheet on the personal computer is called VisiCalc. Okay, this was released in 1979. That's correct. Okay, 42 years ago. The first electronic spreadsheet on the PC is called VisiCalc. Okay, I've used this myself. What was the first, no? What was the first word processor running on the PC? Anyone? The first word processor running on the PC. Did you know that? Your parents must have known that. The time of your parents. It's called WordStar. Okay? In 1976. Okay. WordStar. Let's look that up. Okay. 1978 pala, no? WordStar is in 1978. It already ran on the CPM80 for the Zilog Z80. Remember, the first computer which runs at an operating system is the Zilog Z80. The operating system is called, what's the first operating system on the PC? It's called CPM80. CPM. Okay, do you follow? Okay. What was the first graphical word processor? Okay. First graphical word processor. Say WordStar. Let's look at WordStar. And ito yung WordStar, no? Have you used this yourself? I've used this a lot of times. I used this for my thesis during the 1990s because I don't have MS Office yet. No? So WordStar, and then the first graphical word processor. It's called WordPerfect. Okay, WordPerfect. It runs on the Apple II. Okay. Microsoft Word. Nowadays we are using Microsoft Word. No. WordPerfect is like this. No. It's the first graphical processor with it's like this. No. Okay. WordPerfect. There's also a WordPerfect for Windows anyway. No. But it was first originally used to run in an Apple II or on a Macintosh computer. Okay. You look up for the year, no? Let's Google WordPerfect. Okay, it was first run in the 1980s, no? 1979. Remember 1978 yung WordStar. Okay? Do you follow? The first graphical word word processor. Okay. So there's the history of Apple computers. No? What was the first mouse? It's the Xerox Alto. No? It's the computer that ran with the first computer which runs with the mouse. No? Xerox Alto. It's a PC also. No? 1973. So microprocessors na ito. Okay. This is how the first mouse looked like. Okay. Do you follow? That's how the first mouse looked like. It runs on a Xerox Alto computer in 1973. Okay. What was the first computer with a color monitor, everyone? The first computer with the first personal computer with a color monitor. Okay, things like this will come up. No, first PC with a color. It's an Apple PC. Okay, I think it's an Apple II. No. Okay. Yes, it's an Apple II in 1977 with a color display. Okay. So what was the resolution of the first VGA? 480, no? First VGA, no? Which ran on the in 1987. Okay, the first VGA monitor in 1987. I cannot forget that because that's the time I graduated college. 480, no? 640 by 480. 640 by 480. That's right, no? 640 by 480. Okay, that's the first resolution. Imagine you will have that. Nowadays we have commonly you can have a 1080. That's more. That's about triple the resolution that you have. Okay. So any other questions now? First computer with a color monitor is the Apple II. Okay, 1977. Okay. First operating system is called the CP/M, running on the PC. DOS is not the first operating system. What was the first software sold by Microsoft? Everyone? The first software sold by Microsoft is a programming language called BASIC. Okay? So you have to be proficient with this because you will be IT students, no? So now I'd like to show you the main source, my main source for the history of the internet. One important topic in computing is the internet, okay? Here's the main source, no? Ito, no? The brief history of the internet. And then I have summarized it, no? I have summarized it in a web page. Okay, so that you may not have to read, but it helps if you read this, no? Published 1987. This is the internet from the Internet Society, no? A brief history of the internet, the origins, no? And anyway, I have summarized it here, but I'm not sure how well it was summarized. Pangit yung pagka-summarize from the Dagler 2.0. It appeared differently, no? When I was in the old Dagler, it didn't appear like this. Anyway, there's a worksheet, no, which you can download. So hindi siya magkasya, oh. Do you follow? There's a worksheet which you can download summarizing the important events involving the history of the internet. It's in a worksheet, so you can see everything clearly. Okay? Any questions so far? This will be our last topic for history of computing. Okay? The very last topic. So you can ask questions on Monday, no? We still have one. So there's the worksheet you can download there. You can download this, no? Okay. Anyway, no? So here it is, no? I've summarized this. The first idea of the internet came in 1962. This is a very old idea from MIT, from okay, a researcher from MIT. What is MIT? Massachusetts Institute of technology. A researcher named, okay, uh, it's a team, no? Anyway, it came from a researcher named J.C.R. Licklider of MIT. He had a concept called the Galactic Network. It's like the Star Wars movie. No? Is there Galactic? Wala pang Battlestar Galactica movie that time, no? 1960s pa. Okay? So it's like the Galactic Network. That's the concept. He envisioned a globally interconnected set of computers. Because remember, by 1960, the PDP computers are already very popular. And then IBM was already making an airline reservation system, which are connected through telephones. No? By late 1960s and 1970s, no, people can reserve airline tickets remotely already using IBM terminals. Okay, connected to an IBM mainframe. So there's already a simple network, no, connected through telephones. By 1970s, there are already telephone lines. Okay, early 1970s, late 1960s, even 1960s, there are already telephone lines. Okay, so IBM had developed an airline reservation system, which actually composed of a network of terminals connected to a mainframe via telephone lines. Okay, so by 1962, J.C.R. Licklider envisioned a concept of called the Galactic Network. He envisioned this to be a global interconnection of computers through which everyone could quickly access data and programs, no, from any site. In spirit, this was very much like the internet, our modern internet. Licklider was the head of the computer research program at DARPA. It is a government agency, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Of, I think it's either the Federal Bureau, FBI, or CIA. No, it's a government agency. No, it's in the Department of Defense. Okay, do you follow? Do you follow? No. So he's a researcher at MIT, and at the same time was the first head of the computer research program at DARPA. Remember that? Huh? That's the first origin of the internet. Where did the internet originate? In the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. That's the US Department of Defense, no, in 1962. When Licklider, no, J.C.R. Licklider envisioned a concept called the Galactic Network. And on the same year, no, October 4, while at DARPA, he convinced the researchers, no, Ivan Sutherland, Bob Taylor, and MIT researcher Lawrence G. Roberts of the importance of the networking concept. Okay, okay. So the concept of the internet originated in the U.S. in the Defense Department called in an office called DARPA in the Defense Department. Okay, any questions so far? That's very important, no? Where it started. It's like Charles Babbage. Okay. Now, there were already telephones, no? So telephones are packet switching networks. So this is not an old theory anymore, because a telephone line is connected to a packet switch network where every number you dial connects you to a hub in the network. Okay. On the packet switching theory, which was published in 1961. Okay. Published in 1961, the first book. Okay, the first packet switching theory was published in 1961, and the subject of packet switching was published in 1964. Kleinrock, remember, was a member of DARPA, no? Saan ba siya dito? No? Okay. Convince Roberts. Si Roberts is one of the DARPA team. Okay? Okay? Si Kleinrock yung author ng packet switching theory. Okay? He convinced Roberts of DARPA, of the theoretical feasibility of communication using packets rather than circuits. Do you follow? Okay, so packets is the concept taken from telephone lines, which was a major step along towards computer networking. So they were thinking of using telephone technology in order to be able to connect computers together. Leonard Kleinrock is the author of the packet switching theory at MIT. Do you follow? So, una si J.C. Licklider, yung concept from MIT, and Leonard Kleinrock, also another researcher from MIT, suggested to DARPA that they can use the concept of telephone lines to connect computers. By 1966, Roberts went to DARPA to develop the computer network concept and quickly put together his plan for the ARPANET. Okay, that was the ARPANET is called Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, published in 1967. The first network of computers is composed by ARPANET. Okay, so the very first network is the network of ARPANET. Okay, do you follow what's ARPANET? Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. Okay, sila yung they were the first to. We'll find out later, no? So RFQ is a request for quote. When a government makes a project, it's like a purchase order. A bidding, a bidding document was released by DARPA for the development of the key concept. Okay, for packet switches called interface image processors. These are packet switches, no? Okay, so they are going to buy packet switches, and that's why DARPA made a request for quote from manufacturers, no, or from suppliers. Okay, and the RFQ was awarded in 1968 to a group called BBN, no, headed by Frank Hart and Bolt Beranek. BBN is maybe one of the names, no? So DARPA, the institution is at DARPA also, no? The institution is DARPA of the U.S. Defense Department. Now, after winning the bid, no, BBN installed an image packet message processor at UCLA, and the first host computer was connected to that packet. They follow. It's like a telephone line. The computers were added quickly to ARPANET. During the following years, the work proceeded on completing a functionally host-to-host protocol and other network shares. So they first connected a computer from UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, no? So DARPA made the first packet network. One computer was connected in 1969, no? The networking group under of the ARPANET finished the ARPANET host-to-host protocol called the network NCP. Okay, it's now called NCP. Okay, the first network was called NCP, Network Control Protocol. Okay, which the ARPANET completed during the period of 1971 and 1972. And then formally, users could now develop applications over the network. Okay, they follow 1970, 71, and 72. Okay. Now, the first public demonstration was after the net was in 1972. No, Can is, remember Robert, a member of the ARPANET. Ito. No, not yet there, no. A new member of the ARPANET, si Can, no, organized a very large group. Okay, a large group of very successful, no, demonstration of the ARPANET in a convention. Okay, in an international convention. The first public demonstration was, okay, a hot application called email. Okay, do you follow? So the first email was done in 1972. Okay. Who was the author? The basic email message was written by Ray Tomlinson, but the email was by Can, no? Okay. Now, before we proceed, no, it was in 1970. Inan ko nga, no? How did they compose the first network? Okay. It was in 1970, no? Ito, sa UCLA, 1969, no? What they did was to connect two computers, no? One at UCLA and the other at MIT. Okay? I think the computer at MIT was an IBM computer. No? In 1969, BBN installed, connected two computers through the network. No? So, two computers through the network involving UCLA and MIT. So, two schools connected together, composing the first, okay, internet, the first version of the internet called the ARPANET. Do you follow? So what was the original name of internet? It's called the ARPANET. Okay? So nandito, and the first connection was done in 1969. I'm sorry, medyo kulang, no? The other end was at the MIT. One computer at MIT and another computer at UCLA were connected together. They added quickly to the ARPANET. So they now have connected two computers via telephone lines. Okay? Any questions so far? No? Okay. The first email was demonstrated in 1972 in an ARPANET International Computer Communication Conference. No? ARPANET organized a conference. No? Where was that done? I'm not sure. Maybe it's in MIT. No? Okay. And Khan, no, the author, I am not sure of his full name, no, demonstrated the first email hot application. It was a very hot application, no, called electronic email. Okay, and in March, Ray Tomlinson of BBN, no, remember, was the company which was given the contract to sell IMPs, no, for the network, packet switches for the network, no. These are electronic devices. Wrote the basic email message, sent and read the software, motivated by the need of the ARPANET developers for an easy coordination mechanism. Roberts, remember, of the ARPANET also, no, expanded its utility by writing the first email utility program. Now, the first email utility program is like Thunderbird. What is that in Microsoft Outlook? Do you follow? The first email utility program was written by Roberts. Sino si Roberts? He's part Lawrence G. Roberts, the original part team at MIT and DARPA. No? In July, Roberts expanded its utility by writing the first email utility program, like Microsoft Outlook. Okay, Microsoft Outlook is an email utility program. They did not give it a name. Do you follow? Okay. The first email utility program was written by Roberts, no? Sino si Roberts? Lawrence G. Roberts, no? The first email technology was demonstrated by Khan, no? Sino si Khan? I'm not sure about that, no? But we will look at that up later. Khan is a member of the DARPA of ARPANET, no? Okay. So 1972 is a milestone in the internet technology, because they not have only established a network of two computers, they were also able to send the first email. Okay, they follow? Now, 1973, Bob Metcalf in Xerox PARC. Remember, Xerox was producing the Xerox. 1973 is also the year of the Xerox Alto, no? The first computer with a mouse. Do you follow? Okay. Ethernet was developed. Okay. Who invented Ethernet? What is Ethernet? Ethernet is the protocol we use to connect local area networks. Do you follow? That's why we have the Ethernet cable. Okay? Do you follow? Ethernet is an upgrade of the traditional two-line telephone wire. Do you follow? Okay? So, the Ethernet technology was developed by Bob Metcalf of Xerox PARC in 1973. No? It was him who first classified the three different classes, no? A, B, and C, to accommodate. That's why we now have the Internet Protocol, just class A, B, and C, no? To accommodate a range of networks. Class A is 192.168, di ba? 192 dot. Class A yun, di ba? Class A represents a large national scale networks. Smaller networks are Class B. And Class C is represented by a local area network. So, okay, they follow. So by then, the concept of local area network is present. Then we call them Class C Ethernet networks. No? Nowadays, we call them the local area network. No? Class C yun. Ibig sabihin ng Class C, if you have an IP address, you know what IP addresses are? Pag 192.168.1, and then the rest follows, that's a local area network. Okay? Okay? Si Robert E. Kahn pala, no? Robert E. Kahn. That's the, he was the first to demonstrate, no, email. No? I think he's also accredited to be the inventor of email. Okay, let's look at that. Who invented email? Ray Tomlinson was the first. No, he was the first to develop the first. He was the first to develop the first email message. 1971. Ray Tomlinson. Okay. They follow. Ray Tomlinson developed the first email message, but the first email utility program was written by Robert E. Kahn. Okay, do you follow? No? Any questions so far? What's the difference between email and the email utility? Email utility is the program that you need to store email messages. Do you follow? Like Microsoft Outlook or Mozilla Thunderbird. No? These are utility programs. No? But the first email was sent through the internet or through the ARPANET in 1972. Okay? The author of email, Ray Tomlinson. Okay? Also part of the ARPANET. What was the first internet? It's called ARPANET. Okay? Now, Ethernet was invented by Bob Metcalfe. Okay? It was him who developed or coined the three different classes of networks, A, B, and C, where C is the term for the local area network. Okay. Now, in 1974, transport TCP was invented. TCP is the predecessor of the TCP/IP. Okay. Who knows TCP/IP? Everyone? If you're in the internet now, you will have an IP address, right? No, you cannot connect to the internet without an IP address. Okay, an IP address is an address, unique address assigned to a computer or a router. Okay, that will give you an official, an official node to the internet. Even URLs, yung mga universal resource locators are converted into IP addresses. Okay, TCP was developed by Vint Cerf and Robert E. Kahn. No? So now Vint Cerf is considered the father of internet. Okay, who is the father of internet? Vint Cerf. No? At DARPA also. Why? Because it was him who gave way. Because by then, the network was made of two computers. So there's no problem identifying computers. Okay? But in order to be able to expand connection to more computers, TCP was developed. Okay? TCP. What is TCP? Transport Control Protocol. Okay? And in 1980, okay, TCP was enhanced into TCP/IP. Transport Control Protocol Internet Protocol. So 1980 pa ito, you're not even born. Maybe your parents are in high school. No? Maybe, no? Your parents maybe in high school or grade school. I was in high school. TCP was adopted as a defense standard, which means that it was the standard for naming computers in the ARPANET. Okay? Any questions so far? Now, in 1980 in Europe, CERN, Center for European Organization for Nuclear Research. I think this is in Scotland. No? Let's Google that. CERN. Nuclear research. Where is this? It's anyway. It's there. No, it's there in the map. So yeah, it's in between in Italy now. Currently now in Italy. No, do you follow? CERN, Center for European Nuclear Research. Okay. Okay. So that's the same CERN we have today. Inquire was built. It's a personal database of people and software models. Okay. But also is a way to play with hypertext. No, hypertext. It's a way of coding text. No, in a page called, because they have a lot. This is a directory of or a database of people and software. So they have a page which contains the information, and inquire is used to link page to page. Do you follow? No, so since there are so many people involved with software, no, the database links from page to one page to another, and the link is done by a hypertext template invented by Tim Berners-Lee of CERN. Do you follow? Tim Berners-Lee is an important figure, no, because he is considered to be the father of the World Wide Web. Okay? Why is it? A network is a network of hardware, no? Do you follow? TCP/IP is a network of computers. The World Wide Web is a network of information. It's a network of information that can be accessed globally by all computers connected to the network. Do you follow? So the first hypertext was developed by Tim Berners-Lee. And at the same time, in 1983, ARPANET transported, or rather transitioned into TCP/IP. Do you follow? At DARPA, no? 1989. This is a very important milestone, because of the database that is in CERN is growing very large. So Tim Berners-Lee wrote a proposal for a large hypertext database with type links, so that they can link their database easily, which now considered became the URL that you have, no? The hypertext links, the H in the the hyper tags, the H tag in an HTML. Do you follow? Do you follow? So it was Tim Berners-Lee who proposed, no, the idea of type links, and by 1990, Tim Berners-Lee had built all the necessary tools for a working web, and he called it Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And the language that runs over the protocol is called Hypertext Markup Language. No? You follow? So the HTTP was established in 1990 in Europe. Do you follow? Do you follow? It's an area near Spain,
Sir.
Portugal. Okay. Any questions?
Ano sir?
No? So HTML was first invented in 1990. Now this is important. There was already a web browser. Okay? What was the first web browser? Okay? Anyone? Nandito ba yung first web browser? It's not Netscape. What do you call the first browser? Okay? So the web editor, by the way, was written by CERN also. It was a server software named as CERN HTTPD. Now it's called the first web server, HTTP. Okay? The first website is info.cern.ch. The first web page that were described in the project itself. No? Do you follow? The browser that could access Usenet, newsgroups, and FTP as well. What is the first browser? Hindi ba nakasulat dito? I was supposed to write it here, no? Anyone? It's called Cello, no? Cello, is that correct, no? First browser. It's also, remember, this is in Europe, no? Let me look at that. I'm sorry, I was not able to put it in the but it's in the It's in the main source, no? What was that? In the 90s, Microsoft versus Netscape. I forgot it somewhere. No, it's in my notes. No, what is the second web browser? I think it's Netscape. Internet Explorer is the third. Okay. Called, what is it called? Si Tim Berners-Lee, no? An author. I'm sorry, it's not there, no? It's not Netscape. You look for that, no? I look for it myself. I have a, no, it's called Cello. Shell, the instrument. It's not Netscape, no? Netscape Navigator. Okay. I think it's here, no? Let me look up for that. This is the main source, no? TCP. This is a shift from, no? You look for that, no? You look for the first web browser. Okay? The first web browser. I used to have it in my, in my, I expected it to be here, no? Or hindi ko nalagay. Baka kulang lang. I'm sorry, no? Kulang lang ito. Okay? So in 1990, the web was formally established, no? You have the by CERN, no? And the main author is Tim Berners-Lee. He authored, no, the hypertext transfer protocol, the method of jumping from links to links, and he invented the hypertext HTML language. Who invented HTML? Tim Berners-Lee, no, of CERN from Europe, no? Okay. Okay. And in 1991, no, the next software, it was brought to us. No. The next is the, okay, in the IBM mainframe, no, there's a catalog of online documents, which also served as the primitive beginnings of the internet in the US. Do you follow? In 1991, but by 1990, the Europe already had the internet. Okay. In 1992, EarnWise, a browser application developed at Helsinki. It's a browser, no, technology, which included advanced features such as embedded graphics, scripting, and animation. Okay, so a browser, no, was invented in 1992. It's not necessarily the first. No, the first browser that has the capacity to embed graphics and animation was EarnWise. Do you follow? EarnWise at Helsinki in 1992. So which means that the browser there, Cello, was not actually a graphical browser. It's only a text browser, no? Okay. No, Cello is the first browser that runs on Windows. I'm sorry for that, no? I'm sorry for that. In 1993, a browser was written for Microsoft Windows by Thomas R. Bruce, no, from Cornell Law School. Do you follow? This was first intended to catalog, no, legal documents. Do you follow? So the first browser to run on the on Microsoft Windows was Cello. No? In 1993, it's not Netscape. Do you follow? Any questions so far? No, it's there. Oh. Okay, finally it's there. No, it's called cello. The musical instrument cello. Do you follow? No?
Po, sir.
So this is the final topic. Any questions? So tomorrow I'll set the sample test and you visit the site. Anyway, it will announce, no? Do you follow? No? Okay. Okay, any questions? No? So we had everything now, no? We have a lot of history, no? In history of computing. What did we cover? Aside from the generations of computer, the invention of the analytical engine, and then we had the invention of the ABC computer by John Vincent Atanasoff. Also the invention of the Zeus computer in Germany, because the first binary computer is the Zeus computer. I think it's the C3. No, it's in our catalog. No, you just look up for that. The first binary computer was invented in Germany, and in the US, the first binary computing machine. It's not a computer. It's the ABC computer by John Vincent Atanasoff. Now it was later copied, no, into the ENIAC. Okay, many concepts of the ABC computer were developed into the ENIAC, and ENIAC became the basis of the stored program concept. No? It's from the stored program concept that John von Neumann. It's from the ENIAC that John von Neumann revised. No, kasi it's where von Neumann noticed that the program should not be run on the batch cards, but should be run in memory. So the stored program concept was invented in 1946. No, it was released in 1959, and then by 1962 they released the IAS and the EDVAC together, which are stored program computers. So Charles Babbage, you have Ada Lovelace, you have Conrad Zuse, no? And then you have Alan Turing, okay, who rediscovered Charles Babbage. And then there's John Vincent Atanasoff from Iowa State, who first invented the binary computing machine. However, it's not considered to be a computer. And then after that, there was Eckert and Mauchly, who invented ENIAC. And after ENIAC, there's John von Neumann, who invented the stored program concept. No? And then there was IBM, no? IBM, who developed the first mainframes, followed by DEC, and then followed by who followed that? Xerox, no? Created personal computers called the Xerox Alto, and then shortly, no, followed later by Apple. Okay, because Apple released their first personal computer in 1976. Microcomputers, no? First generation of computers are vacuum tubes, no? Mainly Williams tubes, yung maliliit, the small vacuum tube diodes. And then the second generation of computers are made of transistors, solid state transistors, no? These are no longer vacuum tubes. And then the fourth generation is made of ICs. The third generation, integrated circuits. The fourth is made of microprocessors. No? Microprocessors. The fourth and the fifth are the beginnings of the personal computer. No? Kasi 1970s and 1980s. No? Yes, that's the fourth generation, 1971 to 1980. And then that's when the personal computer was the first personal computer. What was that? Is it the Zilog or the Altair? First personal computer. I think it's the Altair, no? Altair 8800. Kaya nga, no, Altair, 1974. Do you follow? So the first personal computer is Altair. It looks like the IBM PC. Do you follow? In 1974. It was followed by Zilog Z80. Okay, which runs the first operating system. Okay, Zilog Z80 is the first PC which runs the first operating system called the CP/M. Okay, do you follow? CPM, I'm not sure what CPM stands for, no? Okay, by then, in 1970s, no, Microsoft already started selling BASIC. When was, was it first produced, no? BASIC was released by Microsoft. 1970s din ito kasi 1981 ang ano eh. 1975, no? Altair BASIC. Okay? Altair BASIC was produced by Microsoft. Remember that Altair was the first personal computer. Okay? Do you follow? Altair 8800, the first personal computer, followed by the Zilog Z80. With the first kasi itong the Altair didn't have an operating system. Zilog Z80. Let's look at that was the first computer with an operating system, no, called CPM. 1974, no? 1 year lang yung gap nila. 1973 yung Altair, 1974 yung Zilog Z80, which runs CPM. And then by 1976, Apple was introduced. Okay? 1976, Apple 1 and Apple 2 almost released together. And Apple 2 later was released with a color monitor. Okay? So first generation, second generation, third. I hope you are able to recognize, no? Do you follow? No? The first generation from the second generation. The first PC is Altair in 1975. It comes with a programming language from Microsoft. Do you follow? When was DOS released? The first operating system developed by Microsoft was released in 1981 in the IBM PC. Do you follow? No? Yung IBM PC, 1981. Okay. And then, let's look at the brief history of Microsoft Windows. Did we discuss this before? How Microsoft Windows came to be? Because by 1975, Microsoft is already there. Okay? Bagal, no? So ito. Okay? 1975 was BASIC. And then 1981 was DOS. 1985 was the first Windows. Okay? 1990 was the first Windows 3.0. I've used this. This is very popular. It runs the first Microsoft Office, no? And Windows 95 was the first 32-bit Windows. Do you follow? Windows NT is the first operating system based on, it's like a Linux or rather Unix-like operating system, no? Windows 98, Windows, and then in 2001, Windows XP was released. The first OS that comes in 64-bit. Do you follow? Kasi yung Windows 95 32-bit, yung XP is 64-bit. Okay, we now have Windows 10. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so we're done with a very large chunk of topics. Okay, if you have no questions, we'll have to end the session. Okay, is that all right? Wala tayo, we will not introduce any more new topics. We will have completely a new set of topics by next meeting. Binary numbers tayo, no? Binary numbers tayo by next meeting. Ha?
Okay po, sir.
Did I miss anyone? Latecomers, can you chat me?
Ako po, sir, Dumandan po.
Kumandan. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So no chat. So I think that's enough. I have accounted for everyone. Okay. See you on Monday, everyone. So we'll have a new set of topics by after the test. Okay. Questions? Bye, everyone.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.